Hello everyone, and I've got a bit of a cough and it's becoming a bit of a cold now as well, so if I sound really ill, well, you know why. So, this video I've had for quite some time in my little archive of videos that I should respond to but never get around to, and for a long time I didn't know where I got it from. I think it was Facebook, so I downloaded it, and I've only recently just found out what the actual title is and who it's from. And it's from Newsbroke, and it's entitled How to Protect White People's Feelings in the Workplace. Well, I don't know about you, but I think this is some social justice humour at play here. Well, what we're waiting for, let's dive in.
Hey Jen, I really like your hair.
Thanks, Becky.
I think the curls are awesome. Black hair's the best.
Can you not do that? It's kind of inappropriate.
Ugh, and already it's the stupid stereotyping and social justice bullshit about white people can't stop touching black people's hair and they love black people's hair so much that it's actually racist, and somehow this is something that actually happens. I'm sorry, but how many people actually go around touching black people's hair without their permission? Like, most of the time, if you want to touch someone's hair, you have to ask them, right? I've never actually seen this, either in the workplace or outside of the workplace even. So, again, where does this come from? And why do they think it's such an issue if they love the hair so much? And let's see how they protect this woman's feelings because she's white.
What? Why?
Well, it's kind of racist.
I didn't even mean to predict that, people, yet here we are. It's racist! Why? Because you're a white person and you love my hair and you want to touch it, even though no white person ever would touch somebody without their permission unless they were some crazy psychopath who had no sense of personal boundaries and space. Yeah, loving somebody's hair, complimenting it is racist, and wanting to touch it is racist too. Incredible. I guess you didn't know I had psychic powers, people.
You're probably wondering, what went wrong in this workplace interaction between Becky and Jen?
Oh yeah, they've decided to poke fun at the old 80s PSA type videos. That's why it looks like a VHS tape. It's not from the 80s, people. It's from the 2010s. And well, nothing went wrong actually, other than trying to touch her without her permission. That's the only thing that went wrong, but that's still not racist. That's just rude. That's literally all it is. It's rude. You don't go touching people like that.
Unless you have a keen understanding of racial discrimination in today's workforce, you probably didn't notice that something very offensive has taken place.
You see, I wish they were joking. I really do, but they're not. I think they're very serious about this, even though they're presenting it in a humorous way. This is literally racist to them and offensive. I don't know what is offensive. All I know is touching somebody's hair without their permission like a crazy madman is rude and creepy, and that's literally the only thing you could consider offensive in this context. If you were a normal human being who knows all the things about workplace etiquette and what's racist, what is not racist, but hey, apparently complimenting someone's hair and saying black people's hairs is the best is racist. But then again, complimenting women is sexist to these people, so stands to reason that it's also racist.
Jen called Becky the R word.
Remember, it's being ironic, people, as well. This is why there's a twist here. It's not the white person that was apparently at fault, even though she quite clearly is to the people, but it's the other one, because she was called racist. And you're right, she called her the R word, which is just racist. Why can't they just say racist? It's not a swear word, it's not a curse word, it's not anything like that. But yeah, that is what's wrong with it, actually. But let's see where they go with this.
Causing Becky to feel shame and sadness. How can we avoid situations like this?
I'm sorry, but why is it that only white people have this discomfort with racial awareness? Couldn't any race have this kind of problem? Because racism is racism. This is not a uniquely white thing. Like, it's pretty well known that Latinos can hate blacks and vice versa, and Chinese people can hate this, that, and the other, you know? Wouldn't they also show some kind of discomfort with this, potentially? I don't get it.
Workplace discrimination is a very serious issue, and we have to be sensitive to our employees' different ethnic and cultural backgrounds. And just as it's important to be sensitive to our Black, Arab, and other non-white coworkers, it's also equally important to be sensitive to our white coworkers' sensitivity to that sensitivity.
Ah, okay, so racism against white people doesn't exist, and instead we POCs have to be sensitive to white people's apparent sensitivity to racial sensitivity and awareness. Okay, alright, good to know that you guys are following the SJW mantra when it comes to racism. White people can't be victims of racism, only everybody else, but we can be sensitive to their sensitivity, as if it's some kind of workaround. Gotcha.
Can you believe that Trump wants to build a wall? I mean, that must really bother you as a Mexican.
Actually, I am Bolivian.
Oh look, white people get confused as to which country a Latino person is from. It's not like black people and Asian people could be mistaken. Hell, even other Latino people could be mistaken. You see, they always like to not show us context, like how long have these people been working together, how long have these people known each other. If they've known each other for a long time or worked with each other for a long time, then it stands to reason that they know each other's place of origin, so the white guy would know he's Bolivian. But if he doesn't know, how exactly is that wrong, and how exactly does this whole sensitivity thing come into effect? But hey, let's find out, people.
How dare you? I went to Berkeley.
I know they're trying to parody white people by showing their sensitivity to racial sensitivity as how someone would react if they were having racial abuse, but nobody would react that way. It's still out of reality. It's still not working as comedy because you don't go, ah, that's funny because it's true, or you don't go, ah, funny because that's something that I would do or something that they would do or something like that. No, it's beyond the realms of reality. It's jump the shark. No one will react that way if they got somebody's place of origin wrong. No one.
Sometimes racial discrimination in the workplace can happen unintentionally. Take, for instance, this scene where Marco accidentally angered Tom by correcting him.
That's not racial discrimination, that's just making a mistake. And how exactly would correcting him make him angry? I don't understand. That would just be like, oh yeah, apologies, you're Bolivian, so I guess it doesn't really apply to you, does it? Although, at the same time, maybe it would, because Bolivia's further south from Mexico, and if you're going to get there by foot or by car, you would have to pass the wall, potentially. I don't know, but never mind. Let's just continue, people. It's ridiculous.
Marco may not be Mexican, but correcting Tom in that manner made Tom confused, scared, and hostile.
Why? He was very nice to him, said, actually, I'm Bolivian. He didn't go, actually, I'm Bolivian, like an SJW would, you know, trying to lecture him on how racist he is and how offended he is. No, he was very nice and polite, like a normal person. Yet, because this guy is white and male, let's not forget that, he's an aggressive wanker who gets peeved at being corrected. Way to make white men look awful. That's totally not racist. Hell no. That's just racial equality at work here, isn't it? You're just spreading that awareness. Just spreading that awareness.
This situation could have been avoided altogether. Let's see how.
Can you believe Trump wants to build a wall? I mean, that must really bother you as a Mexican.
Yeah.
What? So basically just allow him to be wrong and not correct the guy? Just take this mistake, which they're trying to say is take the racism, just take it. Don't fight it, don't correct him, don't do anything. Just keel over backwards for him. I mean, I guess that's the joke, but at the same time, this isn't a very good message. But it's a parody, and they're trying to twist it on its head, but at the same time, it's just showing how racist they actually are to white people, and that they think we live in the 1950s when we don't. And I'm pretty sure most people wouldn't even say Mexican. Wouldn't they just say Latino or Latina, or as Steve Scheid says, Latinx, which is not even Spanish. It's clearly some kind of Anglophone type thing that SJWs have concocted.
I love Mexicans. They're so hardworking.
Yeah, yes, we are great.
Again, none of this makes sense, none of this happens in reality, which is why it's not funny. The white guy wouldn't have reacted in an aggressive way to being corrected, and the Latino guy wouldn't be pretending to be Mexican to facilitate this guy's feelings. In fact, I think the opposite probably would happen. This guy gets the nationality wrong, and this guy flips out. But that depends entirely on what the Latino is like as a person, and politically, if he was an SJW, of course he would. If he wasn't, he would do it like he would at the beginning, like, oh, actually, I'm Bolivian. This is why it doesn't work. I understand that they're trying to parody the 80s PSAs, and I think they have it wrong on the 80s because none of this shit would ever make it onto VHS in the 80s. Nobody was preaching this stuff 30 years ago. That's just insane.
Viva la Mexico!
Go!
Crisis averted.
Again, nobody would react in this way. Nobody.
Every day we learn more about how people of color live with histories of oppression.
Well, you know, it's not like white people have suffered from that as well, from people like the Turks and Arab pirates and Arab empires. I mean, the reason why the Middle East is the way it is these days comes from the Arab invasions during the Dark Ages. Before that, the makeup was completely different. The religious makeup was completely different. All those lands near Israel were Greek. They were Greek speaking. Of course, there were people like the Jews and Canaanites and Egyptians and other different ethnicities, but by and large, there were Romans and Greeks there, usually. And that all changed when the Muslim conquerors arrived in the Dark Ages. So, is that oppressing white people? Or is that just something that we're going to ignore here? Because that happened in history. Likewise, the Barbary states later on in the 1800s were going around Europe seizing and kidnapping people to sell into slavery. They also sold Africans into slavery as well. In fact, the Ottoman Empire had the most shares in the slave trade, so yeah.
And every day we forget about those who also live with those histories, the oppressors.
That ironic moment when your ironic video is actually racist towards the people that they're supposed to be telling you are the racists. This is what I don't like about all of this. It presents a one-sided black and white version of history, to excuse the pun and turn of phrase. We know that white people can and have been oppressed in history and relatively recently. We know that people of colour can also be oppressors and can also be imperialistic and can oppress each other as well as white people. I mean, it's not like the Chinese were the most powerful empire in the world at one point, or the Mongols were the most powerful empire at one point, and it's not like the Zulus went around being imperialistic in South Africa before the Brits even arrived. In fact, before even the Dutch arrived in South Africa. So why is it that only white people are the oppressors in this stupid, untrue version of history? It's amazing how blatant they're being. I don't think they're trying to be ironic here, although they're definitely trying to pass it off as ironic humour when it clearly isn't.
You see, the average person of color has spent years developing a thick skin when it comes to systemic racial oppression.
I'm sorry, can you actually point towards any kind of systemic racial oppression in the West? Like, seriously, can you? And don't go back in history to tell me about all this. I don't want to hear about things that happened in the 1960s, 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, 1910s, 1800s, 1700s. No, I want an example from the 21st century or from the 1970s onwards, whatever. I want to hear stuff from around about that period to now, because I don't think you can give me anything other than maybe the prison gap, and that's about it. But even then, it can be argued that that is not oppression. No person of colour in the West in this day and age is suffering from oppression. Neither is any white people suffering from any oppression. They're certainly dealing with a hell of a lot of discrimination than they used to. White people, I mean. From people like you and from affirmative action, but that is not the same as oppression. And even then, I'm not denying that some kind of discrimination happens towards people like me. Of course it does. But then again, that's not oppression. It's ridiculous.
While the average white person can go through many of their formative years without ever having to think about race.
Yeah, sure. People of colour, like me, have thick skins. All of us just magically have thick skins. It's not like people like Black Lives Matter and other social justice warrior types don't have thick skins and get outraged over the littlest things that aren't even racist. Meanwhile, white people who live in majority black areas or majority Latino areas or majority any area where they're not a majority, which is very rare in Western countries, but they do exist, don't have to think about race. It's not like they're not getting discriminated against by racist people. Yeah, totally aren't. They don't have to think about race. And it's not like those black people who live in black majority neighbourhoods don't think about their race either. Or, you know, maybe, just maybe, normal people in general don't think about race. But racial and gender ideologues like you people always do, and are simply projecting that onto everybody else. I mean, this is a white person telling me this. I really do not need to be told this by anyone, but I just like the fact that it's a white person telling me this, because that way they can get away with being racist towards white people. Because look, it's a white person saying it, so therefore it's gotta be true, it's gotta be alright. Well, no it isn't.
So hearing about racism can be traumatic for your white coworkers and create a negative work environment.
So hearing about racism is triggering to white people, apparently. Okay. You know, maybe these people aren't racist, and being called racist when they're not being racist or aren't racist at all is triggering, is insulting to them, maybe. That's what they're trying to refer to. I don't know. But I just find it funny that in order to combat racism with this ironic video, they're actually being racist. But hey, whatever. Too edgy, man. Too edgy. Whoa, irony. Whoa, check that 80s look. Ain't it retro? That's down with the kids, isn't it? Vaporwave, synthwave, bruh.
White privilege might seem like everything is easier all the time. And it is.
It's like they saved all the best buzzwords and racist shit for last. I can't believe it. I'm really glad that they brought this crap up because, yeah, not having to think about race or not thinking about race in general, and you happen to be white, is racist, and white supremacist and white privilege. Yeah. It's not like normal people in general, regardless of race, don't tend to think about it that much. I know I don't think about mine that much. At least, not anymore.
But it can also be hard, because feelings are hard.
Yeah, that guy who lives in a trailer park or a council estate, yeah, they're totally not finding it that hard at all. Yeah, they're having a whale of a time because of that white privilege, bruh. That white privilege.
Yes, I just got the raise. $30 an hour. Let's celebrate after work.
That's great. $30. Congratulations. Oh my God.
Denise just got a raise and told Jane about it in celebration. But what Denise doesn't know is Jane is actually earning far more for the same job, and now she feels guilty about it.
This has got everything ass backwards because Asians actually out-earn white people in America. I assume this is America. In fact, they're among the most successful demographics in the world, let alone America, Britain, etc, etc. So why would the white person be earning more when statistically she doesn't? You see, now they're just blatantly lying about things. They're not even trying to exaggerate to the point that nothing would happen in reality. This genuinely is a statistical lie. Now, it's the same as the gender wage gap. Basically, life choices and cultural attitudes, etc. have made it so that Asian people in America out-earn everybody. It's that simple. They're in the most high-paying jobs because they're good at those jobs and culturally they work very hard to achieve those goals. That's not to say that all of them do. No, of course not. There are Asians, specifically on the West Coast, that are involved in gangland problems and drug problems and all sorts. You know, loads of working class people who are suffering. But on average, they out-earn everybody else because of those traits. Yet, these people would have you believe that this white woman out-earns this Asian woman when that's not the case at all.
If Denise had just kept her new income to herself, this whole situation could have been avoided.
Oh, and by the way, this would never happen in real life. I don't think they would be paid differently for the same job because that is illegal under the Equal Pay Act. And also, why would she be guilty unless she had extreme white guilt? And why would this happen in real life? Like, just this whole conversation. See, it's not bound by reality. It's not funny. It's not working, either on an ironic level or on a humorous level or on any level. The only good thing about this is the look. I genuinely love the look of this video. I love it. It's amazing. They've done a really good job. And it's a shame because what's inside it is utter crap.
Yes, I just got the raise. Let's celebrate after work.
Drinks are on you.
Of course.
That makes no sense. That's the exact same conversation, only she didn't mention how much money she's earning now. And even then, wouldn't that person still feel guilty? Because it doesn't matter how much the raise was, she'd still feel guilty because she thinks, oh, I've been paid more because of my race, even though that doesn't happen. God damn, this has just crazy issues.
Being sensitive to white fragility is difficult, which is why we've devised a simple system to help you foster a non-hostile work environment for your white employees and co-workers.
This is exactly the same kind of thing that masculinity so fragile is. It's just the racial equivalent. Apparently these white people are fragile and they must be pampered because they're so racist or do racist things or are unaware of their racial problems or whatever they cause, so that they need to be dealt with in a way that these PSAs would usually refer to people of colour. So like, you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't do this, you can't do that. And ironically, this is supposed to be showing how bad white racists are to people of colour. Only it just shows how racist people are to white people and that this is a very racist video, even though it's supposed to be anti-racism. Oh my god, that is just too much. Too much. Just next.
Stop, ignore, listen, empathize, never complain, and eat.
Oh, so basically just be silent. That's the joke. Yeah, silence. Let them oppress you because they're so fragile. We're so ironic. Yay.
Or as we like to call it, the silence system. Here, let's watch what happens when silence is put into action.
Honestly, you'd think they'd have some kind of self-awareness, but they don't. Silence? Really? They have become so politically correct in this ironic way that they're not even going to pronounce silence correctly. I don't even get that joke. I don't get it.
So I'm not racist.
Stop.
Like, I voted for Obama.
ignore.
Like, I understand the reason for the Black Lives Matter movement,
Listen.
but it's just like, all lives do matter.
Yeah, calling out a black nationalist, cop-killing movement as racist, saying that all lives matter, is racist, especially if you're a white person saying that. And by the way, why would anybody start a conversation like this? Just walk up to your black friend and go, I'm not racist. But, even though that's not a I'm not a racist but statement, nor is it an argument like that. And besides, isn't this what they preach white people when it comes to people of colour being bitter and angry with them? Just be silent, let them talk, stop, blah 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 blah. This is what they do to them. Yeah, oh my god, this is just stupid.
Empathize.
I just feel like race really isn't relevant in America anymore.
That's not being empathetic, that's being sarcastic, that's being ironic. And by the way, it shouldn't be relevant, it really shouldn't be, but a group of people recently have made it relevant again, despite the fact that Martin Luther King, who they always loved to compare themselves to, said that we should judge people based on their character, not their skin or race or anything like that. No, instead we should do the opposite. But we're the same as Martin Luther King, of course. Yeah, I wonder who made that relevant again.
Never complain.
You're really easy to talk to, Adrian.
And eat. That's right.
Yeah, I don't understand why they're saying eat. I really don't. I think they were trying to figure out other things that they could say, but they couldn't find anything that was relevant, so they just said eat because it's funny. Reasons. Yeah, irrelevant humour, man. It's funny. Laugh, please. Laugh. Laugh, goddammit.
Excellent. Adrian was able to diffuse a potentially hostile work situation by using sillins. Great work, Adrian.
This is actually fear-mongering, because what they're basically saying is, if you're talking race to a person, or if you complain to a white person, or do anything like these things, remember, white people are the oppressors, so if you're the oppressed, and you step up to the oppressor, they're going to act aggressively, they're going to browbeat you, they're going to complain, they're going to whine, they're going to cry, they'll oppress you even harder if you do any of these things, so it's in your best interest not to do this. This is basically what they're saying, although it's all ironic, and it's not funny, and it's too mind-bendingly stupid and confusing to even wrap my head around.
It's so dense, every single image has so many things going on.
America is a beautiful country built on some ugly things. Things that just don't belong in the workplace. And in order to remain productive, we must all pitch in to protect our most powerful and most fragile.
That single-handedly makes your point moot. How can they be both fragile and the most powerful? That doesn't make any sense. Do you want them to be these pathetic, fragile losers that are easy to overcome? Or are these all big, powerful oppressors that are dangerous and you don't want to anger them? Make your bloody mind up. What are they? You cannot make your minds up and your argument falls apart. What do you want white people to be in this situation? Make your bloody mind up. You can't have both fragile and most powerful evil oppressors. You can't.
Because when sillins works, everyone works. So let's all be sensitive. White sensitive.
I have no words for this. I have no words. Just none. I've said everything.
That was dumb. And you loved it. Well, stay tuned because there is more from Newsbroke. What's Newsbroke? I don't know.
Oh, so edgy, so edgy. Anyway, people, that's the end of the video. God damn, that was just awful and cringy and so ironic in many different layers. I just didn't know what to make of it. So, until next time, this has been CharmingMan93. Donate to my Patreon, share the video, 1 like, and you'll receive your very own 1980s PSA on racism, and 1 comment, and you'll get your very own Vaporwave soundtrack along with it. So, until next time, I'll see you all later.